Now, the World Health Organization estimates 80% of the world's population uses some type of herbal medicine. It's a growing trend in treating a variety of issues like fatigue and stress. 76-year-old Mia is feeling good these days, but a couple of months ago, that was not the case.
A lot of broken bones, yeah, just whole body pain, bone pain.
Mia was in a serious car accident.
The worst thing is I couldn't sleep, and I still had bone pain in my left foot, so it was hard to walk.
The former nurse went through physical therapy and was using an opioid for her sleeplessness.
My general practitioner didn't want to give it to me anymore. He said, not at your age, you could become addicted to it. I can't go on like this. I have to try something else.
That's when she visited Jason Garuder at Garuda Health.
The herbal medicine's been around for over 2,000 years. 4 biggest ones I treat are fatigue, anxiety, insomnia, and depression.
Garuder is a board-certified Chinese herbalist.
There's a whole different set of herbs that are specific to each part of the body that can help clean up whatever the problem is. Anxiety is actually just a symptom. It's not a diagnosis in itself. So for them, they say, okay, the person's suffering with an anxiety as a symptom, but what is the Chinese medical diagnosis as to what is causing the anxiety?
After a couple of months,
I feel good, I have strength and energy, and I'm happy again. I don't have any anxiety or depression. I drive all over the place.
Dawn AIUTO is a 35-year-old mother of 4 and small business owner.
So I've dealt with anxiety probably since I've had children, probably worsened in my 30s, and I've tried a little bit of other medication, and none of it was working.
About 7 months ago, she too decided to try Chinese herbal medicine, taking medicine 3 times a day.
It's changed my life for the better. I'm able to control my anxiety. I don't have panic or anxiety attacks, probably a tenth of what I did prior to coming here.
That's where the Chinese medicine can step in, and where it's very good at chronic care, but it's not so good at acute care and trauma care.
If you're considering trying this holistic treatment, there are some things you need to consider.
It's not really a good idea to just buy something online based on some random internet recommendation.
Packaging and processing of herbal medicines are not well controlled, so you must go to a reputable source.
Potential for contamination, the potential for basically differing amounts of active ingredient.
As for the results Mia and Dawn experienced,
I couldn't say as a physician scientist that there's proof that they work. If you believe they work, you take them and they seem to work for you, that's great.
I'm a believer in there are some things that you need medicine for, and there are some things that you can do naturally or do more holistically, and I think that this is definitely one of them.
now experts say a good practice is to discuss alternative treatments with your physician. You may also want to consider complementary medicine, which is utilizing alternative treatments.